harder they fight, the louder we sing. We're close.
And today I want to cover 3 different types of connections that can help sustain you and your family through the ups and downs of life. These 3 connections are connection to community, connection to self, and connection to the divine. While all 3 are very important connections to strengthen, it would only be appropriate to discuss these 3 connections with the understanding that during different seasons of life, you will need to rely upon one, maybe more than the others. Let's start with connection with community. As you just heard, Big Ocean Women is a thriving community made up of a sisterhood spanning our globe. We focus on generative, positive solutions to personal, interpersonal, and local community needs as we gather in our cottages. This community connection model has proven to be extremely effective in providing support during the ups and downs of life. As we celebrate baby showers, we highlight our diverse heritage, we support worthy local causes. It also is shown to be a strength during the lows, rebuilding communities after devastating economic and social situations, lifting individual cottage members as they face job losses, miscarriages, and other personal challenges. This connection is like the leavening agent for the whole community as it rises women and thus the whole of society. Connection with self. This is something I so strongly believe in. It is important to be your number one ally, and that is something I'm attempting to teach my 2 daughters. One of the things I've done in my life to help with connection is to determine attributes that I want to have and to continually repeat them for when I come into a situation where they will be useful. For example, with my daughter Grace, we have begun developing a list of attributes that she seems keen on having. And the other morning she walks into my room. Mommy, I looked at me in the mirror and I said, I am strong, I am brave, I am smart, I am kind, and I'm pretty. A practice I lead out on daily. She took initiative that morning. Our family does this not just so we can start off the morning feeling good, but because we hope to develop a connection with our best selves and a habit of thought for when the hard times come, which played out perfectly the other day on a family hiking trip. This is a hike we had never done, and we didn't realize how difficult of a hike it was going to be. The ground was slippery and muddy, ice was just beginning to thaw, and to top it all off, it was a relatively steep grade, especially when you're only 1 and 2 like my daughters. Determined to continue on the trip, we began the hike upwards. About 20 minutes in, I hear Grace telling herself after a rather steep part, I am strong, as she takes another step forward. After a particularly hard slip, she then says out loud, I am brave, as she uses her walking stick to stand back up. It is this connection with self, the focus on positive attributes, that is proving to be a great tool in navigating the hike of life, and one that provides a connection with self when life muddies the waters. The third connection I want to talk about is with divinity. I subscribe to a theology that divinity is both masculine and feminine, that we have both a divine father and a mother who are intimately involved with and invested in the outcome of our lives. After giving birth to my second child, it's an act that I believe is as close to divinity as one can reach in this life. I experienced postpartum medical complications that had me and an extensively well-trained medical team fighting for my life. It was during this process that I was lying in the hospital one evening, listening to the constant beep of the machines monitoring my vitals, when a deep, stomach-wrenching cry passed my lips. I remember burying my head underneath the thin, sterile white sheets as tears streamed down my puffy face. I wanted my mommy. No, I needed my mommy. And I needed her. And while my theology teaches how to reach the Divine Father, it doesn't go into detail on how to connect with our Divine Mother. I lied in that bed, my heart breaking wide open, seeking that motherly touch, knowing that she was out there and yet not knowing how to reach her. This was the beginning to a long journey that I'm still very much engaged with. However, I have learned and experienced a few things on this journey. 2 of these experiences in particular I want to share with you today. After the medical complications that occurred, I started to experience pretty severe postpartum depression and anxiety. The idea of leaving my children behind and the fragility of life was extremely raw at that time. My confidence and connection with myself was strained. My connection to the community was fragile. And because of that, I needed connection with divinity. I tried to make it a habit to wake up early in the morning when in Alaska and go walk outside, seeking a connection with the divine. It was on one of these walks that I began looking at all the trees surrounding me. They were everywhere. In my studies, I had come to learn that the Divine Mother is often depicted through literature and art in the form of a tree. As I continued walking down this dirt road, I brushed up against an evergreen branch. As I pulled away, I felt the cold dewdrops fall down my cheek, and it felt like a cold, wet kiss. The thought came into mind, she is here. She is always here. And it's up for you to recognize her and come to her. The second experience was with a mama brown bear. As some of you know, I deeply, deeply identify as a mama bear. Don't mess with my cubs, or you're going to be seeing the bad end of my claws, and you may or you may not be coming out of the woods. It had been another emotionally difficult day, and that evening I went for a walk down by our river. On this rock, I came across a mama bear and her 2 cubs. I was watching her from about 50 yards away, pulling salmon out of the river, when she turned around, rised onto her back 2 legs, and looked directly at me. I was mesmerized. She was wild, powerful, confident, and dynamic. She knew her own strength. And just for a moment, our eyes connected, and chills ran down my spine. As she looked deep into my eyes, she began to purr, a sound that they only make when they are comfortable and happy. It was as if she could see the pain inside me and reached out the only way she could. You got this, Mama Bear. One day soon, you will once again recognize and feel the power within you. One day soon, you will rise again into your full stature. Be patient. I offer you the same words this Mama Bear parted unto me. Mama, if you are struggling, one day soon, you will once again recognize and feel the power within you. One day soon, you will rise again into your full stature. Be patient. It is through these 3 connections, the connection with community, the connection with self, and the connection with divinity, that we can stay grounded through the ups and downs of life.
We'll meet again.